Jack of all trades.
Hey, I'm your host, Lamar L.A. Smith, and welcome to another episode of the Jack of All Trades podcast. Today, I'm with Bryana Medina, who's a senior at Cal State Dominguez Hills, studying communications journalism. Bryana was also a soccer player for 13 years and played at Mount San Antonio College. So say what's
Yes.
up to everyone.
Hello.
All right. I'm not gonna lie, I have a confession. So when you told
Okay.
me you were from Chino, California,
Yes.
my mind said, when she says Chino, does she mean Chino Hills? Because the Ball brothers, so
hmm
I'm assuming you don't know the Ball brothers.
Okay. Chino and Chino Hills are two different cities, but very close to each other. I actually went to school in Chino Hills. So I went
Hmm.
to Ayala, which is the rival school of Chino Hills, where all the Ball brothers went.
Hmm.
hmm
That's pretty funny.
So, yeah, I'm not familiar with Jello and Mellow, but I am friends with Zoe.
Hmm. That's cool. That's
So
cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
not like super close, but like we have the same friends and the same people that we used to hang around when we were in high school. So yeah, I mean everyone knows each other in Chino Hills.
Makes sense. Makes sense. I know
hmm
me being from DC, early on in college when Obama was in office, everyone would ask me, have you met Obama before? But I really feel like it's because, I'm a black guy, he a black guy, I'm in DC, he in DC. So maybe we just supposed to cross paths in, downtown DC.
Maybe.
But yeah, unfortunately, never met Obama. Been in the White House
mm.
once, but
Wow.
maybe he just wasn't there that day. Maybe he was resting or something. Who knows? But enough of that. So today, everybody, is going to be a little bit different than normal. Normally, I have a overarching topic that I go over with my guests, but today we're going to learn more about Bryana and what makes her tick, and just see some of her insight on college and her collegiate journey. So my first question is, what inspired you to go to college?
um, so what inspired me to go to college? I'm the youngest sibling. I'm the youngest out of my family. My parents didn't graduate college. My siblings didn't finish college. So I really wanted to show them that this is something that you can do and that your younger sister is doing it. So that's my main motivation to finish college. I'm a senior, so I'm really excited to finish. But I'm the first out of my family, so that really inspires me.
Ooh. First gen, that's a big weight off your shoulders. I mean, I
Yeah.
have a few first gen friends, and like you said, you'll be setting the table for future generations in your family.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, you played soccer majority of your life. I'm assuming this is probably like the first time in your life that you haven't been playing soccer.
Yes.
So,
Mhm.
what made you want to go to college specifically to play soccer?
So, all my life, I grew up playing soccer. All I knew was soccer, 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 school and soccer. Even when I was a little girl, I would go to school, then I would go to soccer practice, and it just became a passion of mine. Um, it was very important for me to play soccer in college because it's something that I worked so hard for and it taught me so much. So, at the college level, it was really just like, this is what I've been working for my whole life. And I'm very lucky that I got to play at a college level, honestly.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So, if that was the case, like when you transitioned, did you ever think about, playing soccer at like a big D1 university? Was that ever in the cards? Like, how did that process
Yeah,
go?
yeah, absolutely. I had multiple scholarships coming out of Mount SAC and high school, but I decided to focus on my career. I knew that soccer wasn't forever. Um, so I just made the decision to just stop playing and focus on my school and my career. And that's how that happened. It was a big transition and it was hard for me to stop playing because that's what I've known all my life. But it was the best decision for me, honestly. I had a lot of fun playing soccer, but it had to come to an end, unfortunately.
All right. Uh, how was that transition, from being a student athlete to like just being a regular student? Because I've had a previous guest on here who did like the opposite. Like she played sports in high school, then she was a regular student, and then she walked on to our school's track team. So
Mhm.
obviously you're in reverse. Like, was that hard mentally?
It was very hard. I went to the school knowing no one. I didn't know any of the professors. Usually, when you're a student athlete, you're kind of everywhere. You know the professors, the coaches give you the insides of like the university and stuff. But me, I was going in not an athlete, just a regular student. The classes were a big deal because athletes do get priority registration. So that was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, that sucks freaking like having to wait and not having all the classes that I need. But it was a very big transition for me from not being from being a regular student and to not getting all the resources that I need when I was a athlete. I had to do everything by myself. So because athletes get all
Preferential
the
treatment?
praise. Yeah, all the treatment. I was so used to that all my life being an athlete. And now I had to do everything and figure it out by myself. So it was really hard. But I got the hang of it. And being an athlete, you have that mindset of like, you get what you want, you're going to go for what you want. So knowing that, I just went on with it and moved forward.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So speaking about that, when you said talking about career goals and aspirations, what led you to want to study journalism? Was this always a passion of yours?
I love writing. I love writing. I love speaking. I love reporting. I love the entertainment business, media. Um, so that has always been something that I've wanted to do. So journalism was really perfect. It's really broadcast journalism that I want to get into. So hopefully, I know everything is like closed down right now, but I eventually want to be a reporter for an entertainment media company. So that's the goal.
Hmm, hmm. That's interesting. That's interesting. It's funny. One of my good friends, she is very interested in that and has like an entertainment pod. So
Hmm.
I'll connect you after this or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys can chop it up because she's enjoying her entertainment podcast and I like it. So yeah.
Yeah.
But that's that's a story for after the podcast.
Yeah.
So far as with journalism right now, I know you write for, let me make sure the acronym is right in my head before I say it, CSUDH
Yes.
Bulletin. All right.
Hmm.
So how did you get into that?
So it was a class that I didn't even know I signed up for because, not being an athlete, you're just like, okay, we'll take this, whatever I can get is whatever, I'm gonna get, whatever I can grab. So I signed up for this class, didn't know that it was a CSUDH bulletin. Um, so that class was honestly so stressful. It gave me the insight of what it is to really be a reporter and pitch ideas and pitch stories and write them. And it was really such a good experience, but very stressful as well. Um, it was hard, not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. But it gave me a lot of good experience of what the world and what writers do.
Whew. When you were saying that, it just gave me a flashback to like early college, like taking journalism classes and learning how to write a story and write a lead and
Hmm.
find sources and that whole like jazz
Yeah.
of it. So obviously different phases, the interview process, the writing process. Uh, what is the most, I guess, what do you enjoy the most about journalism, like that whole process when you're working with a story?
I think I enjoy the most just like since you do have to pitch ideas every single week, you gain a lot of knowledge and you meet a lot of people. Since you do have to interview all these people, you get connected with some people that you've never even met before, or people that can give you opportunities. I interviewed so many people from my school that I didn't even know they had things going on, which connected me. And we kind of came together and did a couple things. So I think for me, I just love the fact. My favorite part was that I got to connect with a lot of people, and I read a lot of, and I gained a lot of new knowledge as well. As far as the school, because we wrote about the school news, but we also wrote about like sports and like entertainment stuff. So it was very cool.
I feel that. So it's like a mixture of everything that you guys kind of focus on, just similar to like any paper, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Because what is it? It was yesterday actually. I actually read your article on how the ceramics professor was adjusting to, Zoom classes and his whole process of that. So is that a lot of the similar stories that you've been writing, just kind of stepping out of your comfort zone and gaining this knowledge about a whole new world?
Yeah, so I usually write a lot of stories about sports because that's what I know and that's what I'm most comfortable with. And I try to challenge myself and step out of sports and write features and news. So that ceramic story, it took me a minute because I'm really not comfortable on writing on features. Um, but yeah, that story is a good story. He talks about, because how do you do ceramics on Zoom? Like that's crazy, right? How do
Yeah.
you how do students have all the tools that they need, at home? And who knows if they have all the tools? But that was a very interesting story to know his perspective on how he's teaching his class through Zoom. And yeah, it was a good story.
I feel that. I feel that. I know, just like the related to my aspect, I know in college I did a documentary on the physical and mental health of journalists. So I was interviewing people in, nutrition, like mental health professionals, whatever. So I'm learning all these things that, like you said, the fun about it is you never know what you're going to learn in any given story because it's just like a wealth of information, and your goal is essentially take that information, make sense of it, and then give it in a very easy and digestible version for the viewer or the reader. So
Yeah.
I think that is the whole fun about it.
Yeah.
What is it? So next question. I forgot about this earlier. So how do you think any of the skills that you learned, playing soccer were transferable to journalism, if any?
So soccer, or even being in sports in general, um, it taught me determination. It gave me a lot of confidence. um, it taught me to, go for what I want. So transitioning from, focusing on being a journalist and writing stories, I kind of came in with the same mindset and doing writing these stories. I knew that I wanted to turn in the best story. I wanted to do the best that I can and put my all into it. And that's what I did. A lot of what soccer taught me transitioned or helped me a lot with like life in general. I don't think if it was for soccer, I wouldn't be this like motivated and like pushing myself to do a lot of things.
I feel that. I mean, I feel like there's a natural like hunger that you learn, like you said about the determination playing sports is like the same hunger that you have or mentality that you have to win these games or to perform at a high level kind of almost is reflected in other things that you do. Like you have this natural competitiveness, like, oh, I
Yeah.
gotta get this, or they say that, hey, the story's due at 11:59 p.m. I'm gonna get it in 11:58. So just like little things like that, I feel that push you sometimes when you just need that extra push.
Yeah, definitely, of course.
So last question before we get to the back half of this whole podcast. I know you talked about that you want to work in the entertainment world, hopefully. Do you have any other big career goals that you want to do in journalism outside of that?
Um, I want to do a lot of things, but my main focus right now is I feel like I've worked so hard in school to be what I want and like show my family and my siblings that this is something you can do. So I think right now my focus is just I can't like for me, I need to focus on one thing at a time. So like after college and once I do get that job that I want, I know it's going to take a long time and I know it's going to take a lot of work, but that's something that I'm built for and that like gives me motivation. Um, so I think once I'm set and once I'm comfortable in my career, I do want to branch out to other things. What those other things are, not quite sure, but I learn throughout the way as I live, as I go.
No, I get that. I mean, it's easy to overload your mind trying to think about all the different possibilities and everything that you want to do or hope to do.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just gotta like take a step back, like take baby steps. Like
Yeah.
for me, I know I wanna have my book become a movie or a TV show. But like the first step is like I have to get it published. like
Right.
like I can't, well, I could pitch it, but it usually is more effective to pitch something when they already seen that it's done well, like Harry Potter
Right.
or Twilight, like all those were books, and every
Mhm.
year you feel like you see a book that became a movie or a TV
Yeah.
show. So now this is the fun part. All right. So
Okay.
at the end of every episode, I play a fun game with the guests, kind of a wind down before we wrap everything up. So today's game, I call it, my name for it is Welcome to the Dinner Table. So
Okay.
essentially, I want to know, dead or alive, if you could pick 5 journalists to have dinner with, who'd you pick?
Oh, 5 journalists to have dinner with. Okay, so I I really listen and watch 2 of these journalists. You might know them. Well, obviously you do know them. They're very huge. They're not just journalists though. They're everything. One, Ryan Seacrest. Hello, he's like amazing. Juliana Rancic, of course. Those 2, they're like power couple. This other girl, Zuri, I follow her on Instagram. I kind of feel like she's went through like, she shows on her Instagram like how she got to where she's at now. She works for Access Hollywood.
Mhm.
Um, and she's very inspiring in her Instagram as well. So I would choose those 3. I don't know about the other 2 because those 3 is who like I follow the most. But
Dang.
the
It's
other
so
2,
many people to pick from. Like you got
I
sports
don't know.
journalists, you got news reporters. Like, I don't know. Obviously, I can't force you to pick anybody, but there's a lot of people to pick of. You really ain't no
But
one
I
gonna pick their
usually
brain. None of that.
I don't know his name, but he works for E News. I don't know his name though. I don't know his name.
See, I don't
He
watch
works
E News
for E News.
enough. If
You don't watch
dude,
E News?
if you said ESPN, then I'm your guy. But E News,
I don't watch ESPN either. I don't. So I don't know any of those reporters over there. Or those commentators. I don't know any of them.
mm,
Who's your favorite journalist?
my favorite journalist, Stephen A. Smith, obviously. we've drawn a lot of comparisons off of personality.
Yeah.
Uh, Stephen A. Smith. Who else would I have dinner with? Probably Stephen A. Smith is definitely the one. Jamel Hill. I love Jamel Hill. Appreciate her takes and whatnot. What other journalists do I love? I'm trying to think. I didn't expect to be put on the hot spot. Those two.
Gotcha.
Oh, Michael Wilbon.
Okay.
Michael Wilbon. I love Michael Wilbon. He's dope. I want to say him, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm gonna just say it because I can't think off the top of my head. Woody Page, he's pretty funny on Around the Horn. Woody Page is dope. And then the last one, Malika Andrews. Malika Andrews is young reporter, amazing at what she does, and like I'm just trying to get on her level. So like how you
Right.
at 25, reporting on the NBA and the bubble, the whole nine, like she's a boss 100%. So Malika Andrews.
Right. Wow, good for her. 25 and reporting on that's huge. That's huge. Wow, good for her.
All right, before I wrap this up, you have anything that you want to promote or anything like that?
You guys could just follow me on Instagram at imbx3_. I will be coming out with my own podcast as well, so maybe I can have you on there and talk about your book and your journey and everything like that. But yeah, I will be having a podcast soon, so be on the lookout for that as well.
Cool. All right. That's all we have in this week's episode of the Jack of All Trades podcast. Make sure you check out the episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Also, I always forget to say this. I don't know why. Subscribe to my Inside 380 YouTube channel where I post the videos, other podcasts on there. Also, get my book, Jack of All Trades, Rise of a Party Promoter. Get the book. All right. Get it
now.
And also follow me on Instagram at Jack Onovan. Same thing with Twitter. I'll put Bryana's info in the bio. Oh, and last thing, check out my sports podcast. I'll put that info in the bio as well.
Yay.
LA out.